Installing CR Laurence bunk windows inside of a van is a little more difficult than actually putting in the max air roof vents. There's pattern issues, putting screws in, cutting a hole in the side of the van. Just a little bit more difficult, but quite doable. And I went on the internet and I looked at some people that actually had done it just to see what challenges there might be. And this is what I found. So enjoy. Thanks, Eamon and Beck. Max.
Did a pretty good job.
What can I take your order?
Now, I saw in Mac's last vlog, it took him 6 tries.
Take 2, take 3. This is gonna be it. Take 4, take 5. But you're starting to feel pretty silly if you bet on me on the first go.
I'm not shooting any shots. I'm just saying, what do you think, Beck?
I think it's gonna fit. 100%. The hole is
It's a little
too
big.
Why you're struggling with the screws?
Look, there's not even holes here, man. It just goes into this like metal slot. It's not even drilled out. But it's hard to say which one I prefer now, because that one you cut too big and I was worried it wasn't gonna fit and I had to brace it to kind of keep it up. But it was way easier to put in. I didn't film any of this. I totally understand where you're coming from, Max. I cut this one too short and I had to keep shaving and shaving and shaving because I was paranoid I was gonna do the same thing from last time. And this was a total nightmare. Right. So you asked me to do windows for you, I'm gonna say no.
It's the CR Laurence RV window that's going to be installed in the ProMaster van. And it's going to give a little bit more ventilation in the van, particularly across the back where the bed will be. They come in one for the right and one for the left. So if you're sitting in the van facing out down the road, the passenger side is on the right and the driver's side is on the left. So you got to make sure you get them installed properly. So this window does not come with a cutout pattern. So in order to draw the opening on the side of the van, to cut out the hole for the window to fit in, you have to make your own pattern. Also, the van comes with the outer window, comes with the outer window and the inside clamp, and they've put about 4 of the screws in to hold it together. So take it apart, you just take out those 4 screws and it separates. But if you take a real close look, all the other holes that you have to put screws in are not pre-drilled or anything. So putting those screws in after is quite a challenge. Very hard to turn those in. So we'll take it apart. Problem in making the template for a CR Laurence bunk window is that you can't lie a piece of cardboard on and easily trace the circumference of this opening that you need to cut into the side of the van. Plus there's this handle that sticks up that prevents you from laying the cardboard flat to begin with, so you'd have to cut a hole for the handle to stick through. So I've tried to do that, and I've come up with a paper template as best I can, and it's not near accurate enough. So the first window I put in, I tried to install these screws into the holes and turn them in, and because of the van panel is fairly thin, it was really hard to push hard enough in order to drive these screws in. So in this one, I'm going to pre-install the screws so that the threads are already made, and then I just need to tighten them in. So I'll show you how hard it is to put these screws in. think I'm even going to try to pre-drill them a little bit, just to make it a bit easier. There. It flips off. The side window is going to go into about here. And we need to get rid of this rib. So I need to cut it off with a metal cutter at the top and here at the bottom. And we be very careful not to cut the outside of the van. In order to cut the rib out for the van so the window can be installed, I'm going to use this metal cutting blade on my Dremel. And this is kind of what it looks like. It's very small. And I'm just going to go in there and cut those 4 tabs, and then this should come off. So let's give it a go. There. Removed. Problem in making the template for a CR Laurence bunk window is that you can't lie a piece of cardboard on and easily trace the circumference of this opening that you need to cut into the side of the van. Plus there's this handle that sticks up that prevents you from laying the cardboard flat to begin with, so you'd have to cut a hole so for the handle to stick through. So I've tried to do that, and I've come up with a paper template. As best I can, and it's not near accurate enough. So what I've done is I've measured the opening, and I've decided that the opening needs to be 10 and an 1/8" thick, or 10 and an 1/8" wide. So I've measured that off on a piece of cardboard, and then I'm going to cut the template out of. And then my length is 33 and an 1/8". And I'm going to check how square my corners are with this square, just to make sure that the corners and the lines are pretty square. I found my paint can matches the circumference of this window perfectly. So it's about 4 3/8 roughly in diameter. I'm going to use it to scribe my corners. Drill a hole for the bit to start in. So I'm going to have my window 2 inches down from this seam. So that's about right there. There. And then I'm going to drill a hole right through there. So this will mark on the outside of the van. So I can take this template to the other side and position it so I know the window is going to be in this area here. So we'll just double check these dimensions. 2.5 inches. 2 inches. 2 inches. 2 inches. Hole through the van. There. Do some pencil marks. This is the drill hole that I just drilled through the van. And I'll take this template down. I'll use my T-square to make sure I square up the hole. There. 10 1/8 inch wide. So we put plastic to cover the hole because there is a ton of metal filings that come off that saw when you cut this hole. So carefully taping it down so we don't lose any of them. Let's clean it up and put some Rust-Oleum on that cut, let it dry, and put the window in. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, the holes, not all holes, are pre-drilled or pre-threaded. So putting the screws in to the holes that are not pre-threaded is really difficult. And I'm having a hard time to get them in. So a ratchet set, a number 8 metal screw with a square connection, and driving this in before you put in the black screws that came with the CR Laurence window makes it a lot easier to install the screws. So much easier.